My name is Clara, and until that day, I thought my life was simple. I was just a wife, a mother of one little girl, and a woman who believed her husband could never hurt a fly. But all that changed in one moment. I was standing in the supermarket, holding a basket full of groceries. My phone was buzzing with sweet messages from my husband. He had texted, "Don't be late, babe. I made your favorite." I smiled when I read it. I felt lucky, safe, loved. Then, as I moved closer to the cashier, someone tapped my shoulder. Not soft. Not friendly. It was firm. Serious. I turned around. A man I had never seen before was standing behind me. Short hair. Dark eyes. Plain shirt. He didn't look dangerous. But he didn't look normal either. His eyes were too sharp, like he had been watching me for a long time. "Are you Clara?" he asked quietly. My chest tightened. "Yes." "Do I know you?" I answered. He took a deep breath, looked around like he was afraid someone was listening, then leaned closer to my ear. "Your husband," he whispered, "made a huge mistake, and you need to know who he really is." My heart dropped. Before I could speak, before I could even understand, he slipped a brown envelope into my basket, between the bread and the milk. "Don't open it here," he said. "And whatever you do, don't show it to him." Our eyes locked. I could feel my hands shaking. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice almost breaking. He hesitated for a second. Then he said something that made my skin crawl. "I'm the reason he can't sleep at night." And just like that, he walked away. I stood there, frozen in the middle of the supermarket, my heart pounding so loud I could almost hear it. Before I tell you what I found inside that envelope, please, if you are watching this right now, don't just scroll away. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more powerful and emotional stories like this one. Don't forget to like this video if you are still with me. It helps a lot. And please, go to the comment section and tell me where you are watching from. Which country, which city? I really want to know who is sitting with me in this story right now. Alright, let's go back to that day. I paid for the groceries with shaky hands and walked out of the supermarket. The sun was bright, but everything around me felt dark. Who was that man? How did he know my name? What did he mean my husband made a huge mistake? I sat inside my car and locked the doors. For a moment, I just held the steering wheel, breathing fast. The brown envelope lay on the passenger seat, quiet, simple, but it felt like it was shouting at me. I picked it up. No name on it. No writing. Just old paper and a small tear on the side. I wanted to rip it open right there. But then my phone rang. It was my husband. "Hey love," he said, his voice warm and normal, like nothing was wrong. "Are you on your way? Emma keeps asking when Mommy will be home." I looked at the envelope. I looked at the steering wheel. Something inside me told me not to say anything. Not yet. "Yes," I replied, forcing my voice to sound calm. "I'm coming. I just left the store." "Good," he said. "I can't wait to see you." When he hung up, I stared at my reflection in the rearview mirror. I looked like myself, but I didn't feel like myself. For the first time in our marriage, I felt scared. On the way home, memories of my husband started playing in my mind like a movie. How we met at a friend's small party. How he laughed too loud at bad jokes. How he always said, "I will never lie to you, Clara." Never. He was kind. He helped neighbors. He smiled at strangers. He kissed our daughter's forehead every night before bed. So why would a stranger say he made a huge mistake? And what kind of mistake was so bad that someone would call him out in public? I drove slowly, my mind heavy. At a red light, I touched the envelope again. What if it was nothing? What if it was just a trick, or a misunderstanding? What if opening it would destroy everything I believed about my life? The light turned green. I didn't move. Cars started honking behind me. "Okay, Okay, I whispered to myself, finally pressing the gas. You'll open it later. At home. Alone. When I reached the house, my daughter Emma came running to the door. Mommy! She shouted, jumping into my arms. You're late. Daddy said you were buying the whole store. I laughed a little, even though my heart was still heavy. I almost did, I said, hugging her tightly. Where's Daddy? In the kitchen, she replied, pointing. He's making something that smells funny. I walked into the kitchen. There he was. My husband. Same sweet smile. Same soft eyes. Same man I had shared a bed with for the last 7 years. He turned around, wiped his hands on a towel, and kissed my forehead. Welcome home, he said. You look tired. If only he knew. Yeah, I answered quietly. It was a long day. His eyes moved to the grocery bags. Then, for just 1 second, they moved to my other hand. The hand holding the brown envelope. I saw it. A tiny flicker in his eyes. Like fear. Like recognition. But it disappeared so fast I almost thought I imagined it. What's that? He asked, casual. This. I said, my voice too quick. Oh, it's just some papers they gave me at the store. He nodded slowly, but his eyes stayed on the envelope longer than normal. Okay, he said, turning back to the stove. Just put it on the table. Dinner's almost ready. My fingers tightened around the paper. No. I didn't put it on the table. Instead, I smiled and walked toward the hallway. I'll just keep it in the room, I said. I don't want Emma to draw on it. He chuckled. Good idea. You know she will, he replied. His voice was light, but my heart was not. Because as I left the kitchen, I could feel it. His eyes burning into my back. Inside our bedroom, I closed the door and locked it. My hands were sweating now. I sat on the edge of the bed, took a deep breath, and finally opened the brown envelope. At first, I saw only a few pieces of paper. Old, folded, and a little yellow. On top, there was a photo. I picked it up. My heart almost stopped. It was my husband. Younger, thinner, but definitely him. He was standing in front of a police car. His hands were behind his back. At the bottom of the photo, in faded ink, were the words, "Arrested. Attempted murder." I felt the room spinning. My husband. Attempted. What? For a moment, I could not breathe. My chest felt like someone was sitting on it. Who was this man I married? What had he done? And why had he never told me? I slowly looked down at the other papers inside the envelope. Court documents. A name I didn't recognize. Dates from years before I met him. And then my eyes stopped at one line. A line that made everything worse. It was written in bold letters, under his photo. Defendant's true identity. Under it was a completely different name. Not the name of the man I married. Not the name on our marriage certificate. A name I had never heard in my life. My hands began to shake so hard that the papers slipped from my fingers and fell to the floor. At that exact moment, there was a knock on the bedroom door. Then his voice. Soft. Calm. Too calm. "Clara," he called. "Why did you lock the door? We need to talk. About that envelope." I froze, staring at the door, my heart racing. Because in that moment, I realized something terrible. The stranger at the supermarket knew my husband's secret. The envelope knew my husband's secret. And now, my husband knew that I knew. I didn't answer the door. I couldn't. My eyes were glued to the papers on the floor. That photo. Those words. That other name. My husband knocked again. Soft. Gentle. Like he was afraid to scare me. "Clara," he said. "Please open the door. You're worrying me." Worrying him? If only he knew what was tearing my heart apart. I quickly bent down and grabbed the papers. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely fold them back into the envelope. I pushed the envelope under the mattress just as the door handle began to move. "Clara, I'm coming in," he said. The door opened slowly. He stepped inside and closed it behind him. For a moment, we just stood there, looking at each other. His face looked normal, calm, loving. But now, I didn't trust it anymore. "You locked the door," he said softly. "Is something wrong?" I swallowed hard. "No," I lied. "I just needed a minute." He smiled and walked closer. The same smile that used to make me feel safe. "I saw that envelope," he said. "Where did it come from?" My heart was beating too fast. If I said the wrong thing, would he hurt me? "The store," I repeated. "Some man gave it to me." His smile faded. Just a little. But I saw it. "What man?" he asked. "I don't know," I answered. "A stranger." His jaw tightened. "Did he say anything?" I hesitated. This was the moment. He said, "You made a huge mistake," I whispered. Silence filled the room. Heavy, thick, dangerous. My husband slowly sat down on the bed. He rubbed his hands together like he was cold. "That's all?" he asked. "No," I said quietly. "He said you can't sleep at night because of him." His eyes lifted to mine. And this time, there was no hiding it. Fear. "Did you open the envelope?" he asked. I shook my head quickly. "No." Another lie. He stared at me for a long time, like he was trying to see inside my head. Then he stood up and placed his hands on my shoulders. "Listen to me," he said slowly. "Whatever that man told you, he's lying. He's trying to destroy us." Destroy us. That word hurt. Why would a stranger want to destroy us? I asked. He opened his mouth, then closed it. "I have enemies from my past," he said finally. "People who don't want me to be happy." "Enemies?" I whispered. "What kind of enemies?" He smiled again. But this time, it didn't reach his eyes. "Let's not talk about this now," he said. "Emma is outside. Let's eat dinner like a normal family." Normal. Nothing felt normal anymore. He kissed my forehead and walked out of the room. I stood there for a long time after he left, my legs weak. The moment the door closed, I sank onto the bed and hugged myself. Something was very wrong. And deep inside, I knew he wasn't telling me the truth. Dinner was quiet. Too quiet. Emma talked about her day, about school and her drawings. My husband laughed and nodded like everything was fine. I watched him closely. The way he held his fork. The way he avoided looking at me. This was the man I trusted with my life. The man I shared my secrets with. Yet he had hidden an entire past from me. After dinner, Emma fell asleep quickly. My husband joined me in the living room. He turned on the TV, but neither of us watched it. "Clara," he said softly, "you're not upset with me, are you?" I looked at him. At the stranger sitting on my couch wearing my husband's face. "Why would I be upset?" I asked. He reached for my hand. "I just want us to be okay." I pulled my hand back. "Who are you?" I asked suddenly. He froze. "What do you mean? What is your real name?" I whispered. The room went silent. Even the TV sounded too loud. He slowly turned his face toward me. "Why would you ask me that?" he said. "Because I need to know," I replied, my voice shaking. "I feel like I don't know the man I married." He stood up. Anger flashed in his eyes, but he controlled it. "Are you accusing me of something?" he asked. "I'm asking you a question," I said. He walked away from me and stood by the window. For a long time, he said nothing. Then he spoke. "Sometimes," he said slowly, "a man has to leave who he was behind, to become who he needs to be." That wasn't an answer. I stood up. Did you lie to me about your name? He turned around. His face was dark now. It doesn't matter, he said. The man you married is the man standing in front of you. But was that name real? I demanded. Enough, he snapped. I stepped back. I had never seen him like this before. He took a deep breath and softened his voice. I love you, Clara. That's all that matters. But love shouldn't feel like fear. That night, I couldn't sleep. My husband slept beside me like a baby. Peaceful. Calm. I stared at the ceiling, listening to his breathing. I waited until I was sure he was asleep. Then, slowly, I slipped out of bed. My heart was pounding as I pulled the envelope out from under the mattress. I took it into the bathroom and locked the door. I turned on the light and spread the papers on the sink. I read everything. Every word. Every date. The truth was worse than I imagined. Years ago, he had been arrested under that other name. Not just for attempted murder, but for lying about who he was. For disappearing after the case. For starting a new life somewhere else. With a new name. With me. My hands trembled as I read the last page. A note written in simple handwriting. If you are reading this, he found you. He never finished what he started. My blood ran cold. Suddenly, I heard a sound behind me. A soft click. The bathroom door, unlocking. Then my husband's voice, right outside the door, calm and low. Clara, we really need to talk now. My heart stopped. I didn't move. I couldn't breathe. The bathroom door was still locked, but the handle was slowly turning. Click, click. My hands shook as I gathered the papers and stuffed them back into the envelope. My heart was beating so loud I was sure he could hear it through the door. Clara, he said again, softer this time. Why are you in there so long? I swallowed hard and forced my voice to sound normal. I'm fine. I just needed the bathroom. Silence. Then a sigh. I'm going back to bed, he said. Don't stay up too late. His footsteps moved away. I leaned against the sink, my legs weak. He didn't break the door. He didn't yell. And somehow, that scared me even more. The next morning, he acted like nothing happened. He made breakfast, kissed Emma goodbye, told me he loved me. I watched him closely, waiting for cracks in the mask. But there were none. When he left for work, I locked the door behind him and slid down onto the floor. I was married to a man with another name, another life, a violent past. And now he knew I was suspicious. I picked up my phone and stared at it for a long time. Who could I call? My mother lived far away. My friends thought my husband was perfect. Then I remembered the stranger. The man at the supermarket. If he gave me those papers, he must be nearby. He must be watching. I searched online. Court records. Old news pages. It took hours. But I found him. The other name. The arrest. The story they never finished. The victim had survived. Barely. And the attacker had disappeared before trial. My stomach twisted. At the bottom of the article, there was one comment. Just one. He destroyed my family. If you know where he is, tell me. The name under the comment matched the stranger's face. My hands were cold. The stranger wasn't just warning me. He was looking for revenge. That afternoon, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something inside me said I had to. Hello. You opened the envelope, the man said. My chest tightened. How do you know that? Because he didn't finish with me, the stranger replied. And now you're living with him. Who are you? I whispered. A pause. Then he said, I'm the man who survived your husband. I nearly dropped the phone. He hurt you? Yes, he said. And he took everything from me. My mind raced. What do you want from me? I want you safe, he said. And I want the truth to end. A car engine started in the background. He knows you have questions, the stranger continued. That's when he becomes dangerous. Fear crawled up my spine. What should I do? Meet me, he said. Tonight. No, I whispered. That's too risky. You don't have a choice, he said firmly. Because if you stay, he might finish what he started. The line went dead. That evening, my husband came home earlier than usual. Too early. He hugged Emma longer than normal. Asked too many questions. Did you go anywhere today? He asked me casually. No, I said. Just the house. Another lie. He watched me closely. Too closely. After dinner, he pulled me aside. We need a fresh start, he said. How about we take a short trip? Just us. A trip. Why now? When? I asked. Soon, he replied. Very soon. My heart sank. That night, when he finally fell asleep, I grabbed my phone. One message. From the stranger. Tonight. 10 p.m. Don't tell him. I stared at the screen. If I went, I might learn the full truth. If I didn't, I might never get another chance. I slipped on my shoes quietly and wrote a short note. Not a goodbye. Just a lie. I went to the store. I opened the door and stepped into the night. As I walked down the street, my phone vibrated again. One new message. From my husband. Where are you? My heart stopped. I stood there in the dark, staring at my phone. Where are you? My hands trembled so badly I almost dropped it. I typed back quickly. At the store. I forgot milk. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. No reply. That silence felt worse than shouting. I walked faster, my heart pounding with every step. The streetlights looked dim, like they were hiding something. Every car that passed made me jump. I kept checking behind me. Was he following me? When I reached the corner cafe, my chest felt tight. The place was almost empty, just like the stranger said it would be. One flickering light. One parked car. I saw him sitting inside. The stranger. He looked tired. Older than before. His hands were wrapped around a cup of coffee that had gone cold. He looked up when I entered. His eyes widened slightly. You came, he said. I almost didn't, I replied, sitting across from him. You said he's dangerous. So tell me everything. He nodded slowly. My name is Daniel, he said. And your husband ruined my life. My heart ached. What did he do to you? Daniel took a deep breath. We were partners, he began. Not in business, but in lies. I leaned forward. Years ago, your husband didn't have that name. He was running from something big. I helped him hide. I trusted him. Hide from what? I asked. Murder, Daniel said. The word hit me like a slap. He promised it was an accident, Daniel continued. He swore he just wanted a clean life. But then I found out the truth. My mouth felt dry. What truth? That he planned everything, Daniel said. And when I threatened to go to the police, he tried to kill me. My breath caught. That photo you saw? Daniel added. That wasn't the first arrest. Just the first time he got caught. I shook my head, tears filling my eyes. I married a stranger. Daniel's eyes softened. No. You married a man who pretended to be safe. Suddenly, my phone buzzed on the table. Unknown location shared. Daniel's face changed. He found you. What? I whispered. He's been tracking your phone, Daniel said quickly. That's how he always finds people. My phone buzzed again. Come home. Now. Panic rushed through me. What do I do? Daniel stood up. You cannot go back with him, he said firmly. If you do, you may not leave again. But my daughter. I know, he said. That's why you must be careful. He doesn't hurt kids. Not directly. That didn't help. I grabbed my bag. I need to think, I said. Daniel leaned closer. He's not planning a trip, he whispered. He's planning an escape. And you and your daughter are part of it. The cafe door opened. A man stepped inside. Tall. Familiar. My husband. Our eyes met. His face was calm. Too calm. Clara, he said gently. You forgot the milk. Daniel stiffened. Run, he whispered. My husband smiled and locked the cafe door. Sit down, he said softly. We're all going to talk now. My heart pounded as his eyes turned dark. Because in that moment I knew Daniel was right. And I was trapped. The cafe felt too small. Too quiet. My husband stood by the door, one hand resting casually on the lock. His face was calm, but his eyes were not. They were cold. Empty. Like I was looking at a stranger wearing his skin. Sit, he repeated. Daniel didn't move. Neither did I. This doesn't concern you anymore, my husband said to Daniel, his voice low. You should have stayed dead. My stomach turned. You tried to kill him? I asked, my voice shaking. My husband finally looked at me. Real anger flashed in his eyes. I did what I had to do, he said. He was going to destroy everything. Everything. I cried. You mean your lies? He sighed and rubbed his forehead like I was the problem. Clara, listen to me, he said. I built a new life. A clean one. I became a better man. By lying to me? He stepped closer. You weren't supposed to find out. Daniel laughed bitterly. See? He never changed. My husband turned sharply toward him. Be quiet. Daniel didn't. You killed a man, he said. Then tried to kill me. Now you're hiding behind a wife and child. The room spun. Killed a man. I whispered. My husband clenched his jaw. That man deserved it. That sentence broke me. No one deserves that, I said. Who are you? He looked at me then, not like a husband, but like someone measuring a risk. I am someone who survives, he answered. Suddenly, sirens wailed far away. Daniel's eyes widened. I called them, Daniel said quietly. Before you came. My husband chuckled. You always were stupid. He pulled a phone from his pocket and smashed it against the table. Then he looked at me. We're leaving, he said. Leaving where? I cried. Somewhere they'll never find us. He grabbed my wrist. Hard. I screamed. Let her go. Daniel shouted, stepping forward. My husband turned and punched Daniel in the face. Daniel fell back, crashing into a chair. I tried to pull away, but my husband was strong. Too strong. Stop. I screamed. Please. He froze. For 1 second. Then his grip loosened. He looked at my face. And something passed through his eyes. Fear. Regret. I didn't want you to see this side of me, he said softly. Daniel groaned on the floor. There is no other side, he said. This is who you are. My husband's face hardened. The sirens grew louder. He turned to me. Go, he said suddenly. What? Take Emma. Run. Don't wait. Don't look back. I stared at him. Why? Because if they catch me with you, he said quietly, you'll never be free. He stepped back from me. Unlocked the cafe door. Go, he repeated. Daniel looked up at me, blood on his lip. Go now. My legs moved before my mind did. I ran. Out of the cafe. Into the night. Behind me, I heard shouting. Then sirens. Then nothing. When I reached home, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock the door. Emma was asleep. Safe. I packed a small bag. Clothes. Papers. Her favorite toy. My mind raced. Was he lying again? Was this another trap? My phone buzzed. A message. From my husband. They won't hold me long. Take the trip like I said. We'll be a family again. Tears streamed down my face. At that moment, I realized the truth. He was not letting us go. He was only delaying. And now, I had to choose. Stay and wait for him to come back. Or run before he did. I looked at Emma sleeping peacefully. Outside, I heard a car slow down in front of the house. Then stop. My heart stopped with it. I froze. The car engine outside went silent. No doors slammed. No voices. Just waiting. I crept toward the window and gently pulled the curtain aside. A dark car sat under the streetlight. The windows were tinted. I couldn't see inside. My heart hammered in my chest. Was it the police? Or worse, was it him? I stepped back and locked every door in the house. Quietly, carefully. I checked Emma's room. She was still asleep, hugging her stuffed bear. I whispered to myself, "It's okay. Stay calm." Then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I didn't want to answer, but I did. "Clara," a man's voice said. Not my husband. It was Daniel. I covered my mouth with my hand. "Daniel." "They let him go," he said quickly. "Not enough evidence. He's already moving." My knees weakened. "How do you know?" "I've been watching him for years," Daniel replied. "And I just saw his car near your street." My blood ran cold. "So that car outside?" "Yes," Daniel said. "That's him." I felt sick. "But he texted me like he was far away." Daniel's voice was firm. "He's good at lies. You know that now." A soft knock echoed through the house. Knock. Knock. "Clara," my husband's voice called gently. "I know you're awake." My heart shattered into pieces. "I just want to talk," he continued. "I promised I'd protect you." Daniel whispered through the phone. "Do not open that door." I backed away slowly. Another knock. Louder. "Emma misses me," he said calmly. "Don't make this hard." My hands trembled. "Please go away," I shouted. Silence. Then, laughter. Low and slow. "You always were stubborn," he said. I heard footsteps moving to the side of the house. Toward the back door. "Clara," Daniel said urgently, "you need to leave. Now." "But Emma." "Take her. Out the back window if you have to." A loud bang hit the back door. Emma screamed from her room. "Daddy," she cried. "No," I shouted. "Emma, stay in your room." Another bang. The lock cracked. I ran to Emma's room, scooped her up, and pressed her face into my shoulder. "Mommy, I'm scared," she cried. "I know, baby," I whispered. "Be quiet." The back door burst open. Heavy footsteps filled the house. "Clara," my husband called, his voice no longer soft. "Don't hide." I looked around the room. The window. I pushed it open and climbed out, holding Emma tightly. We landed in the cold night air. Behind us, glass shattered. My husband had entered the room. "There you are," he said. I ran. Down the yard. Through the neighbor's fence. Emma cried against my chest. Suddenly, headlights flashed. A car screeched to a stop. Someone jumped out. "Get in," Daniel shouted. I didn't think. I jumped in the car and slammed the door. Daniel hit the gas. As we sped away, I looked back. My husband stood in the yard, broken window behind him. He wasn't angry. He was smiling. And in that smile, I knew something terrible. He wasn't done. Daniel drove like a man running from death. Streetlights rushed past us in yellow blurs. Emma sobbed softly in my arms, her little body shaking. I held her tight, whispering, "It's okay." Mommy's here. It's okay. Even though nothing was okay. I looked back through the rear window. No car. No headlights. But my chest was still tight. He smiled, I whispered. Why was he smiling? Daniel didn't look at me. Because he thinks ahead, he said. That's what makes him dangerous. Where are we going? I asked. Somewhere off the map, Daniel replied. A place he doesn't expect. I wanted to believe him. I needed to. We stopped at a small motel just before dawn. Old sign. Peeling paint. One blinking light. Daniel paid in cash. No names. No questions. Inside the room, Emma finally fell asleep on the bed, exhausted from crying. I watched her chest rise and fall and felt tears roll down my face. She doesn't deserve this, I whispered. Daniel nodded. Neither do you. I turned to him. Why are you still helping me? He hesitated. Because years ago, someone could have warned me. They didn't. Silence filled the room. Then he added. And because if he gets you back, he wins. Morning came too fast. Daniel went out to get food. I stayed with Emma, staring at the door the whole time. Every sound made me jump. Every car that passed felt like him. Then my phone buzzed. One message. From my husband. You can run. But you can't hide forever. Emma needs her father. My hands went numb. How did he know where we were? I hadn't turned the phone on. I ran to the window and peeked through the curtain. A familiar dark car was parked across the street. My stomach dropped. He was here. Daniel burst into the room seconds later. Clara. He's outside, I whispered. Daniel swore under his breath. That means he followed me. Emma stirred. Mommy. I scooped her up again. A knock came at the door. Slow. Calm. Knock. Knock. Daniel stepped in front of us. Stay behind me, he said. Then my husband's voice came through the door. Smooth, gentle, almost loving. Clara. This has gone far enough. Come out. Let's end this the easy way. Daniel shouted. Go around back. Another knock. Harder this time. I told you, my husband said, his voice turning cold. There is no place where I can't reach my family. The door handle began to turn. Emma clung to me, crying. I tasted fear in my mouth. Because in that moment, I understood the worst truth of all. He wasn't chasing us anymore. He had already caught up. The door burst open. My husband stepped inside like he owned the room. Calm. Clean. Smiling. Clara, he said softly. You're scaring our daughter. Emma buried her face in my chest. Mommy. I want to go home. My heart broke. Home no longer existed. Daniel stood firm in front of us. Take one more step, he warned. And this ends now. My husband laughed quietly. You were never brave, he said. Just lucky. Then everything happened at once. Police sirens screamed outside the motel. Red and blue lights flashed through the window. My husband's smile disappeared. What did you do? He snapped at me. I hugged Emma tighter. I finally stopped protecting you. Daniel raised his phone. I recorded everything, he said. Your threats. Your confession. All of it. My husband stepped back, panic flickering across his face for the first time. No, he whispered. Not like this. The door flew open again. Police flooded the room. On the ground. They grabbed him, twisted his arms behind his back. He screamed. He fought. But this time, there was no escape. As they dragged him out, he turned his head toward me. His eyes burned with hate. You still belong to me, he growled. I shook my head, tears running freely. No, I said. That was your biggest mistake. Days later, the truth came out. His real name. His crimes. The life he stole. He wasn't just pretending to be someone else. He was hiding from who he truly was. Emma and I started over. A small house. New locks. New beginnings. Some nights, fear still whispers. But every morning, I wake up free. And that stranger from the supermarket? He didn't ruin my life. He saved it. If this story touched you, please like this video. Subscribe for more emotional and powerful stories. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next one. Comment below and tell us where you are watching from. What country or city? I want to know who stayed with me until the end. Thank you for listening.